On my other podcast, Batman by the Numbers, we're actually in our world's finest era. It's the year of Superman, and some of that has bled over here to Media Lit and our Bat Chats. Tonight, we are going to have the opportunity to talk a little Superman. And wouldn't you know it, James Gunn gave us the gift of all gifts on this very day before we record this episode. I don't care when you listen to it, Podlings. I love you. But on this very day, I am hyped because James Gunn gave us the official trailer to Superman. And July 11th cannot come soon enough, but I'll save my thoughts. I would love to hear from Randy and from Josh your reactions to this new trailer. Josh, we'll throw it right to you, bud. What'd you think?
Oh man, I never anticipate how excited I'm going to be for this movie until the next piece of it comes out. And it's like, oh wait, I'm so stoked for this. This is going to be incredible. I was floored by this particular trailer. And not even by like the big moments. The thing that just immediately took my breath away was this relationship they're showing between Lois and Clark, which is obviously the most pivotal relationship in that franchise and that property, and one that means so much to me, one that has been explored so many times. But this seems like a new-ish take on it that really gives a chance for Lois to shine and get a sense of who Clark is when he's not in the suit, but when he's also not putting on the uh, Daily Planet persona journalist. So I'm really excited to see what happens. And then on top of that, I don't know, just really just wild action. We've got kaiju, we've got giant neutron storms in the background. I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, so well said. I'm glad you highlighted that relationship because I read an interview with Rachel Brosnahan where she highlighted that this is kind of an era of their relationship that hasn't been explored on film before. Audiences, she said, will be surprised to see where they find them. She's not just discovering his secret identity or just meeting Clark Kent for the first time. They're kind of right in the middle of things, and that's a new place for us to explore that relationship from. I'm also stoked. Randy, what did you think of the trailer?
A few things that struck me um, that I am not 100% sure how I feel about yet, but I'm curious about. I was very taken aback by like just how immature this Superman seemed in that scene with Lois. Um, like not just like, schoolboy apple pie naive, but like a little bit cocky, a little bit abrasive in a way that I was kind of surprised to see because that's not like the main association that I get. In Clark's defense, my girl Lois is breaking like every rule of journalism and how she's attempting to conduct this interview. Like the ethics concerns are just like through the roof. So, maybe he was not set up for success. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's a bad thing. I'm just genuinely kind of curious to see how that plays out. I wasn't sure what energy to expect. But one of my favorite shows, genuinely of all time, is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So the thing I am the most excited about in this film is to see Rachel Brosnahan cook. So to see her, like kind of like sit down, cross-legged, like ready to dig into the interview, ready to verbally spar with Superman is the energy that I want from her. So I did feel that same sort of thrill from that exchange. So I'm excited to see this relationship come together. Um, a couple smaller points I just wanted to make real quick. She's not featured prominently in this trailer, but I am so psyched for Isabel Merced as Hawk Girl on the strength of her work on The Last of Us season two. She is an actress I knew nothing about, but she has been such an instant icon on that series, just like instantaneously winning me over, taking control of the screen every time. I just checked out the Peacemaker season two trailer where she gets a couple quick lines in there. We get to see some of her energy. So I was a little bit bummed that I only caught like a slight glimpse kind of in CGI mode in the background of her. And that was my other note was like this was technically my least favorite of the trailers I've seen so far. Uh, if only because it was like very CGI forward. I found myself reflexively sort of like groaning a little bit when the little like fan razor blade hand started going. I was like, okay, but it's James Gunn. It's going to be fun. I mean, he made me fall in love with a talking raccoon. I'm not one to get too caught up in the special and digital effects. If the story is there and the heart is there, I am here for it. But I'll admit, I got like a brief pang of like, okay, how's this going to go? And then the last thing I am fortunately in a great position to work on, and that is just it seems like we're getting a lot of character introductions. So I think it's going to be very helpful that I have so many friends in the podcasting world who are experts who are going to help me, catch everything that I should be appreciating about these intros. So yeah. Oh, and last question. Is Green Lantern canonically supposed to look like a giant tool?
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely. Great note to end on.
Hmm.
I'll
Hmm.
just say first and foremost, I think what we're seeing is a highly comics accurate Guy
Yep.
Gardner. You're talking about this is like the dude bro Green Lantern.
Hmm.
This is the Green Lantern that most heroes don't really care for. So yes, and this is a classic comic book haircut that he's rocking with that bowl.
Yeah.
But in general, man, I'm so excited for you because this is a great time to be getting excited about Superman for the first time because you're not like a budding genre fan, but as a sort of budding comic book fan,
Yeah.
I'm like envious that you've got this like fresh Superman thing to look forward to as you're beefing up your comic book knowledge along the way. You
Hmm.
must read All Star Superman before July 11th.
Consider it done.
For me, this trailer was exciting from the jump, and it was because of just the quiet dialogue that it opened with, right? We've had some utterances in the previous trailers, crypto, take me home, um, chance of Superman, but nothing like this, not straight dialogue. And so
Mm.
just this little glimpse of that moment between Lois and Clark had me hyped. And I'm completely here for the energy that Clark was bringing in that scene, Randy.
Hmm.
I can smell what you're laying out there with that take. But I think it's kind of to the Josh's point. You're seeing a Clark who is not putting on the Smallville gee golly shucks persona that we're used to seeing him put on the Daily Planet for everybody's benefit.
Hmm.
And he's not full hero mode as Clark. He's like his truest, most honest self in that moment. And it's somebody who's really right
Mm.
somewhere in between, who can be playfully cocky,
Yeah.
who can sit there across from this person who he has fantastic chemistry with and like,
Hmm.
spar a little bit and not be maybe so reserved and so careful with every word that he utters. So I was loving that
Yeah.
energy. And then separate from Superman himself, this trailer is just full of glimpses that I think we haven't seen before. Frank Grillo popping up as Rick Flag Sr. We saw him in the Peacemaker
Hmm.
trailer. Really thrilled for the live action take of that character. Um, Not somebody that I saw, but because I was so excited about the different people I was seeing in this, it led me back to the cast listing for the first time in a long time. I wanted to remind myself exactly who was portraying the engineer because
Hmm.
I thought she looked sick. Maybe if I scrutinized the CGI again on a rewatch, I was just so floored because I'm used to Lex being escorted by a bodyguard, a female
Yeah.
bodyguard, who is a human weapon of some kind, who can transform her arm into a blaster. So
So is that Razor Hands?
that's Razor Hands, the
Gotcha.
engineer.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that looked pretty sweet. And assuming we don't get a ton of her in the film and we get it mostly in,
Yeah.
in big, moving action, I hope it suffices. But it led me back to the cast listing. And did you guys know? I feel like I'm just learning for the first time that Bradley Cooper is
Oh.
voicing Jor-El in this. James Gunn snuck his boy Bradley Cooper in for another voice role.
Wow.
What?
Yeah, the man himself, old Blue Eyes, looking at me right here from the other computer screen. I'm thrilled. So between the music, between the glimpses of dialogue, my gosh, the utterances of Pa Kent explaining to Superman what makes him who he is.
Mm.
I was crying. It got me. I'm thrilled for this movie, man.
Yeah.
Bring July 11th on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time no matter what.
Yeah, I agree so much. And if there's one moment that I would add during that initial interview scene, the moment where we see Clark put on the Superman voice when he's getting ready to like give the interview, it's like, yes, he got the assignment. This is what I'm here for.
There's a moment he squares up to the camera, right? It's
Mm,
like, okay, Mrs. Lane. And I'm with you. He knows the assignment. He understood the assignment for sure.
Yeah, the journalism major in me really particularly loved the nickname of Cronkite for
Yeah.
Lois as they're about
mm.
to dig in. Yeah. Fun chemistry there.